too.
Mm-hmm. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Tacoma Issues of Today. This has been an adventure. When you say L,
Oh, indeed.
so is that live right now?
No.
Click on it. This is really funny, people. We just now trying to get everything going, but it's gonna work. We just have a lot of production difficulties today.
A few bumps on the road. We got to smooth
A lot of bumps on the road. That's what
smooth
you
those
said.
out.
But
We're gonna smooth them out.
we trying to smooth out everything right now. Well, it's kind of funny though. But we're working on it. In case you don't know, my name is Greg Upshaw. And this is my good buddy here, L. David. We are hosting the newest Tacoma podcast show. It's gonna be fun, but right now it feels like we have a lot more fun trying to get it together than doing anything else.
But it's together now.
But it's together now.
Found our steps. Got our footing.
We got the production up. We got things moving around. Now we just gotta just dip into things we know about.
I know about nothing. I'm here. I'm raw and dry. We're gonna see what happens.
Well, and okay, but on that note, why don't we just look at some things that I wanted to talk about? First of all, if people don't know who I am, my name is Greg Upshaw. I'm the host and moderator, owner of Tacoma Issues of the Day. I'm also a poet, writer, author, and a social advocate. I really have a lot of passion for people with disabilities, mental illness, homeless. That's basically where my forte would probably be. Outside of that, I do a lot of my writing about these things on my broadcast show. And it's also www.tiot.today. So you can always get a contact with us this way, anywhere else. But this is my intro. This is who I'm about. So my boy L, he's just a professional. You work in the mental health area, right?
Yeah, I work with adults with mental disabilities. It's fun, a lot of fun. Discover a lot about yourself doing something like that.
So let me ask you one question about that. In your line of work, do you think that they get the true help that they actually need? Do you think they're very well respected in society?
I think it's becoming more aware of people with disabilities and their issues. You know, I think with more of that coming more light every day, it becomes more socially acceptable as it should be. You know, I think that these guys are just trying to live with the life that they were given. You know, and it's a rough one, and everybody needs a hand sometimes. So to me, it seems like people should be more understanding. And I think with more awareness that's coming out with everything that's happening, well, in communities and stuff like that.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. I have seen a gradually increase in the homeless population, mainly people over 45. Mm-hmm. Are you starting to see a lot more of that in facilities where you work at?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
But I work with individuals in their own home. So.
Oh, okay.
But it is state run to a point. So our people won't go homeless because the state's not going to let that happen.
Well, you better hope it won't go.
Well, I hope not.
I mean, you got President Trump in office. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know which way the world's going to turn. I just hope it doesn't turn that way for them. You know.
I mean, yeah, that's for a different show.
That may be a different podcast.
That's for a different show. There's a lot I could talk about with old President Trump, and we'll be discussing that somewhere down the line. But for right now, I just want to make sure we get up and running and see how things go. But yeah, Trump is going to be something special. And, people already talk about him being a dictator, and everything else.
I have no idea. The next 4 years are going to be interesting no matter what, and we'll
Well,
see if there'll be another four. But we got to get you know
next 4 years.
they're going to be interesting no matter what. We're going to see some different things, whether they're good or bad. That's all I can say.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of people making a trip to Canada real quick if we start building this wall
if they can
all over
afford
the
Canada,
place.
Canada's kicking people out. So all I know is people who go to Canada, if they have no means to go to Canada, if they're just going to go with their little $2,000 and some hope, they're dreaming. They better be able to fund themselves and have employment. Canada's not going to take them. That's just how it works.
Well,
I watched the whole thing on it. It's crazy.
Well, Canada's already saying that Trump building that wall, we don't want no part of it.
Oh yeah, Canada's going to remain where it always remains, on the outside of the problem. They're never going to be right in it. Okay, Canada does not get involved. Think about it. They don't get involved. They stay out of all the mess. Canada's like a no-fly zone for any garbage that the U.S.
Well,
is involved in the other countries.
We might have to start becoming a no-fly zone for certain areas in this own country.
Yeah.
I mean, Washington's already looking at taking a battle on with Trump already about certain things.
Yeah.
So.
But Washington's good at taking a stance.
I always look at
taking a stance on things. Yeah. So I do love our state.
Well, I tell you one thing though. Yeah. Well, that's one thing I look at with Washington is the fact that when I think about Washington, I think about their very unusual culture diversified type country, state.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
But at the same time, I was surprised that Washington decided to take on Trump on that type of battle. You don't usually see states come to the forefront like, well, hold on, son. Wait a minute here. We love our immigrants here. We love our people here.
Yeah, we love our trade. We love everything that we're doing with the foreign people. And you know what? Somebody had to, anything should be challenged if somebody finds it not to be working for them. Anything should be challenged and it should be found out through reasoning whether or not it should happen or not. Not just because I'm a bully or I'm big or it should just be kind of reasoning each way. But that isn't how the world works, unfortunately. It works with whoever has the higher power who can over somebody, and then they make that as fact. More so.
Yeah. But you know what, though? I could say I've seen this coming many, many years ago, but that would assume that I had this precognition type thought, premonition, and everything else. But you know what? I do think you're going to see somewhat of a mini implosion within this country. I think that you're going to start seeing the haves and have-nots at war with each other more so.
Probably.
I think
it's already happening.
I think you're going to also see.
You're going to see the entitled versus the unentitled having a lot. The people who feel they're entitled and the people who feel they're not entitled. You're going to have all those people battling each other too.
Well,
so there's just so much going on right now. Everybody feels like they can say their piece and it's okay, and everybody feels like nobody has any compromise in 2017. Nobody has any give for the other person. It's always me, go, my topic, and that's just kind of reshaping the way that we think, unfortunately, for selfish reasons. It's harder to get ahead, but Jesus,
Well, I don't know. I think self-freedom has been earned 3 times over with the people we already have in this country. To say that they don't have a right to be here, well, I guess we ought to go back to the days of slavery and Native Americans and sit down and chit-chat with them then and see whether they have a right to be here.
Well, to a degree, I can understand this having certain parameters you have to fit into to get into here. You can't just come here because you floated over. That's ridiculous. Unless there's people shooting at you at the time, don't come over. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. If we can't go to any other country without going through a bunch of hurdles and jumps and all this stuff too, they're doing it already.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, we already have a lot of bases already implanted and embedded in these countries.
That's true.
So, if you want to look at it from that perspective, then we should even be over there.
What America needs to focus on is America. Whatever we're doing, make money outside the country, that's cool. That's fine. But you know what? Why are we taking care of everybody who ain't from here? we can't take care of it who is from here. How many vets are on the street?
Well,
How many of our people are on the street? And we gonna take care of some other people because they're on the street, but they ain't on our street. That's crazy.
yeah, well,
So in that respect,
that's an ongoing process. It's been going on. I can go 3, 4, 5 decades back. It hasn't changed.
I mean, it's true to a point. I mean, I hear that. I hear that.
And the only thing that's going to change is when it gets to a point where it's impacting our lives. It's impacting our money. It's impacting where we live at. Then we're going to say, hey, enough's enough.
Well, see, all I know is like 50 refugees from anywhere ain't affecting me, but the 3 homeless guys on the corner are. You know what I'm talking about? Why can't we figure out if they can jump through the hurdles to set themselves up not to be homeless? And let's not do drugs. Let's not do this. Aim for a goal. Try to hit something. Go volunteer until you can get hired on. There's things that these guys have to do to get back into the workforce and back to their life. But it isn't a pill they can swallow and it's going to happen. They got to work for it. So
here's the thing.
There's many people willing to do it. There's just nothing out there for them to do it with.
Yeah.
And so we can put that kind of stuff in place.
But see, here's my problem with that.
That's all there is to it.
Well, see, I understand that. And also understand that there's a degree of responsibility you take on yourself.
Yeah, that's why they just don't get it.
But at the same time, though, some of them, it's a profession to them. They know how to use the system.
And you know what? That's our fault for falling into that. But if we're gonna give it to the same guy we've seen on the street corner all week, all 2 weeks, all month, he's always there. He's driving off in something. He ain't walking away in some burnt up shoes. He's turning the keys to something later, and he's gonna drive on home to a house that's probably better than mine. But if he can prey on the people, I'm not mad at him for it. That's the hustle. Go get it. But if I fall into it, it's my fault.
Yeah, but see, at the same time, though, that's bringing a dark umbrella over the people that really need the help. You're talking about vets out there.
It is.
They don't choose to be out there.
That's right.
But they got problems mentally as well as, with drug abuse and things of that nature. You got women out there.
We can weed that out, though. That's the thing where the process of elimination comes through, I would like to think. If we see this 22-year-old vet on the corner, you can get out of here with that. You know what I mean? You can leave with that. Who are you fooling? If you're